Are you looking at homes online, visiting open houses, and driving your favorite neighborhoods looking for coming soon signs? If so, you may be considering buying a home using the listing agent instead of having an agent representing you. In this video, I'm going to share with you some things to consider when buying a home through the listing agent. My name is Lori Engel, and I'm a top-selling agent specializing in working with buyers and sellers in the Austin, Texas area. There are several reasons why dual agency may help complete a real estate transaction. The buyer may simply have not had time to find an agent, or the buyer may find the home through an open house or some form of advertising from the listing agent and then want to make an offer without having their own agent. So let's begin with a basic understanding of the home selling process. When a seller lists a home using a realtor, they sign up to have representation in the sale. This brokerage, which we call the listing agent, has a fiduciary duty to look out for and act in the best interests of the seller. When a buyer has their own agent, then the buyer's agent has the same fiduciary duty to their client, the buyer. So in this scenario, both parties are represented. But what happens when the buyer doesn't have an agent? Well, you may be surprised to learn that different states have different rules regarding real estate agency. For example, in Texas, if you are a buyer and you call the seller's agent, keep in mind that the agent is representing the seller and their best interests only. In this situation, the buyer is completely unrepresented. The listing agent's duty to the potential buyer is to treat them fairly, but they cannot give them opinions or advice. However, the broker is allowed to act as an intermediary and can negotiate the real estate transaction between the two parties as long as there is written consent from both parties. So, the buyer and seller must agree to this type of representation. You can see from these scenarios that if each party had their own agent representing them, instead of the listing agent acting as an intermediary, they would benefit from their agent acting in their best interest and advising them throughout the transaction. But having one agent does present risks because it's difficult to share the details about each party's willingness to negotiate while keeping each of their best interests in mind. It's just a really fine line. Again, as in the case of a Texas transaction, if each party elects to have their own agent representing them, they will have a fiduciary relationship, which gives them each full representation and confidentiality with their agents. Hopefully that helps explain the importance of having your own representation as a buyer or a seller when you're purchasing and selling a home. When you have a fiduciary relationship with your designated real estate agent, they are legally mandated to act in your best interest. As an agent myself, this is something that I take very seriously. If you have more questions about buying a home and realtor representation, then you can schedule a quick phone call with me. I'm happy to have a chat. I've provided the link below.